This is Akhil Navluri and welcome to the first ever podcast from Yexle. We are planning to roll out podcasts covering various subjects. We want to start the first podcast where we have Mr. Vijay Pundi, a managing director who's based out of the UK, Mr. Matt Rook, who heads global sales, pre-sales and customer success for Yexle, based out of the UK, and Mr. Raghav Prasad, who heads offshore delivery and is based out of Hyderabad, India.
So today's topic is going to talk about the foundation of Yexle, the objectives for the year 2024, and covering the likes of pre-sales and delivery. So it really gives me an immense pleasure to have you three for the first ever episode of the Excel podcast. So how are you all, and how was your weekend?
All good, all good. Just a little bit of a tiring weekend because I've been traveling
Mhm.
across different places in India, but it's fun.
Right.
It's fun.
Good to know. Good to know. So you had a very, a constructive weekend, like you were exploring multiple things, and yeah. So I hope Matt and Raghav, you also had a great one, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, good for me, thank you. Quite relaxing, quite quiet. Yeah, very good weekend, thank you. Some good weather here in the UK, finally. So that was nice to enjoy.
I think that's a complete relief then, in some words.
Yeah.
Lucky Matt, he has a good weather there. Here, the summer in India has already started, but still, I had a good weekend. Thanks for asking, Akhil.
So, without any further ado, I will begin with. So, Vijay, I often have this huge curiosity when I always think about the fact that, like, what was that exact moment when you thought about Yexel? Like the first time when you just had the thought about Yexel?
See, being an entrepreneur, doing something on my own has always been there. I would say I was bitten by the bug probably mid of 2014. Right. I've been working in quite a lot of things around customer success, business development, pre-sales, almost all facets of software development lifecycle. But something that has always attracted me is what I call as delivering customer value and consultative selling. Right.
Nice.
I'm not just
Yeah.
saying selling here, but what I'm saying is consultative selling. Right. What that means is trying to actually ensure that you can tell customers that these are the areas XYZ that need improvement. These are the areas where we can help support you to reach that XYZ. These are the values you would get, right, by relating to both their business and technical issues, right? So that has always been something that I've been very fond of doing, identifying through the various engagements that I've had, right? So, and that's what I call as consultative selling. So by
Right.
mid 2014 or something like that, the bug kind of bit me. Took a while
Okay.
to actually get infected. About 5.5 years, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, but when it got infected, it was really big information on infection, right? In such a way that we started Yexle.
That's pretty insightful, Vijay. Like really, I mean, like I just expected that it would, but really, you have told me about your entire journey, and this is very much inspiring for me. So, Vijay, like now, since we have approached the year 2024, so just wanted to know, like, what is the vision, mission, and the end goal of Yexen as an organization?
The goal of any organization, organizations are definitely, are going to basically say that one of our focus is growth, right? Either in terms of revenue, either in terms of people, either in terms of making themselves known in the market, or all the three.
Yep.
Right. So yes, that aside, all organizations want to grow leaps and bounds. They want to identify new things in the market. But I think for us, we want basically to ensure that our growth is not just by selling, but
Right.
like I said, it is by ensuring that the customer has awareness of Excel, awareness of the capabilities that we can provide, right? And through that awareness, we want to basically assure and ensure that we can deliver what they want, right? And we are
Yes.
able to basically take care of their business problems. We are able to formulate a solution to their business problem through the technology solutions, right? And ensure that the adoption from the customer is done the right way, right? So
Right.
from that perspective, yes, we still continue to have the same vision for 2024. And whichever markets we are in currently, right? Like we are headquartered in the UK, so EMEA, Europe, Middle East, Africa is
Yep.
basically one of the biggest growth areas for us. Yeah, so definitely we'll be growing there. US is a market for us, which is I wouldn't say it's nascent, but it's just beginning to start and grow arms and legs. So yes, definitely considering that it's also the headquartered location of Appian, we want to grow in that geography in the US,
Right.
North America as well. Yeah, so that is one the other thing. And like I said, yes, we definitely want to create the awareness in each of the projects that we are, and we want to assure the delivery. So that's how we want to basically grow. Matt, anything from your side to add?
I think that's a great summary. It's we know that the market in front of us is exciting. Appian continue to grow as a software vendor globally, and with us specializing in their ecosystem and around the Appian technology, then as Appian expands, our market expands, and therefore that growth that BJ just talked about globally across all those key markets is there in front of us. There's lots of competition, as we know, but if we can continue to be excellent in what we do and be known for that, be famous for being excellent in the way that we deliver Appian services, then we can continue to take advantage of that market. And so that's our focus, isn't it? Like, as BJ said, our focus
really
and our
good to
vision
know.
is to expand into that and to continue to grow into that opportunity.
Like they say in a simple English term, that like it's just the beginning. So you'll see a lot more, to explore now further on, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much encouraging and very much insightful, I would say, Matt and Vijay. So heading to you, Matt, like I've taken a great amount of insightful views from you, Vijay, like about. So I'm pretty sure that our Yexle associates and the people and young generation who are listening to our podcast, they'll find it very inspirational and very motivating. And again, they'll make a keynote about it, like how do they, and they'll get a clear idea about what the corporate is about. So heading to you, Matt. So I always find it very much interesting that pre-sales is one of the most important aspects of the organization in bringing in the business, like you're giving an example just now. So on the on a little bit not encouraging kind of a part probably, I just wanted to know what were the challenges that you have experienced in the first hand when you were taking up the pre-sales.
There's a few key things, I think. Just building on what Vijay was saying there, really, this idea of consultative selling. We're not manufacturing and selling widgets. We're not paper clips. We're selling a service. We're selling a high quality service and a specialized service that requires both expert knowledge of the Appian technology and being able to then apply that in a consulting way to work with customers to solve their business problems. So I think the challenge and the opportunity for us when we're selling and growing our business is to understand how we can help clients solve their business problems or meet their opportunities. And if we think about selling as providing people with Appian expertise, that's still pretty good, but it's actually not as good as thinking, how do we solve a client's business problems with the Appian technology and with our people? And so I think that is really the challenge, because that requires us to do a few things. It requires us to understand what those business problems are, to not just listen to the description of the project or the description of the resource demand, but actually understand what are they trying to achieve, what are their deadlines, what are their goals, what are the risks, and to then match that with a proposal from Yexle that helps them deliver that, and that they can see that we're investing ourselves in helping them achieve their business objectives. So I think that's difficult, because it would be easy to say, oh, you need 4 Appian developers for 6 months, great, here's the price. And sometimes that is what a client asks for, but more frequently the client might be asking for that, but really it's to help them achieve an outcome. And if we can do that, then that, I think, everyone is more of a winner. So I think that's the first one. The second challenge, I think, is as we grow quickly, growth is not smooth and predictable. It's spiky, it's lumpy, and you get a surge in demand and then maybe a slightly quieter period, and we're hiring people and training people and promoting people at the same time as growing the business. And so sometimes matching supply and demand is tricky. But that's where obviously we've not got Saga in this conversation, but in other conversations we'll have Saga in the podcast.
Definitely.
And Saga's role of running our technology practice is so important, because he's basically kind of creating that supply side of the business. If I'm creating the demand by selling the Yexle offer, Saga is serving up the supply, for then RP to sit in the middle and make sure that we're delivering, with what we've got for what the client needs. So that is tricky to manage. But I think actually, again, the fact that we specialize in Appian helps with that challenge, because we're not trying to build up the supply of 4 or 5 different technology practices and lots of different skills. We're focusing entirely on our hiring and our training and our professional development around the Appian platform. So that means that all of our efforts, just like Appian themselves, all of our efforts are around that. And so therefore that makes it easy to match the upcoming demand, because we know exactly it's going to be about Appian. So yeah, those are a few. There's lots more things that keep me awake at night and challenges, but generally good things. But those are 2 examples of things that I think are particularly relevant for us.
Yeah, I think one of the example of what keeps him awake at night is probably my WhatsApp messages. But jokes apart, right, Akhil? That's probably, I think, as you can see, right, what Matt says and what I've said is all in relation to driving and delivering value to customer, not just by but just by spraying a sales concept, but being very focused on what problems, what pain points to be solved, and if Appian is the right tool. I think, Matt, you would also confirm, right? Many times we've even told the customer that, if you're trying to do everything on Appian, that's not the right thing, right? So that is how we have established our credibility with the customer as well, right? We don't want to try and peg, for example, a square peg into a round hole, which means it's of no use. Just because we know Appian, we can't force fit everything on Appian. We've also been very clear that way to the customer. So that also kind of actually adds a lot of credibility to the consulting that we're doing. Right? So Matt's job is not that easy, because he covers the entire gamut of pre-sales, sales, and customer success, right? So Yexle as an organization, we just don't say that we are focused on sales. We always say that we are focused on customer success. Right. So even the delivery teams, even the pre-sales, they're all aligned to customer success, because if we sell something and the customer is not successful because of the implementation and don't get the intended value, there is no use in us selling, right? Or there is no benefit they've got.
Exactly.
So that's why entire things around pre-sales, sales, and customer success, they're all lined up, and they're all probably called as customer success for us. So that's how the vision lines with basically the selling, or the vision lines with how we entrench ourselves into the customer through the pre-sales and sales functions. And then once we are entrenched, how someone like Prasad actually ensures that they deliver on what our team has talked. Right. So far, until Matt and I, we are just doing the talking, and then Prasad's team is basically, doing the doing, if you know what I mean. And Saga's team is ensuring that Prasad's team is doing it the right way, right? So that is how we have actually balanced ourselves.
So in simple words, which I can just say that everything is interlinked and everything is like an integral thing of the organization.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. We're all cogs in the wheel, and even if one cog is not functioning well, then there's going to be a lot of issues.
That is true. That's a very right example, Vijay, to put across. And Matt, the way you were mentioning about the challenges, and the way you were showing the things, how do we rectify it, and what are the things that. So I feel that I could see a lot of passion when you were explaining about it. And at the same time, when I joined the organization very new, I was part of the development team again. So Vijay used to always tell me this, that you should always have the 360 view of the process that you're handling. So the way you were again mentioning about one pinpoint gave me a reminiscence of that. So that was really, really an insightful fun from you as well, Matt. So as we head to the final segment of our podcast, we will be moving on to the delivery point of view. So Raghav, I have always heard about it. I've been told by a few that the customer delight, the customer retention, and the quality deliverables are an integral ingredient of an organization. So Raghav, what is your experience when you handle such kind of a portfolio?
Thanks, Akhil. Thanks for having me on this podcast. And it was an interesting question as well. So as an organization, right? So at Yexle, what we do is we are committed to create an impact for the clients by building applications with greater speed and using our high-performing Appian certified teams, so that we ensure that the end user adoption, the successful end user adoption is there for the solution that we build. So whatever we build, the end user should successfully use it, adopt it, and see benefits out of it, right? So in fact, if you look at Excel, right, so we live and breathe Appian, and that's what we do for our living.
Yeah.
So coming back to your question of delivery, right? So at Excel, it's easy for us because we follow the Appian subscribed delivery methodology, right? So where we Excel define it as 4 phases. One being the initiation phase, then we have the build phase, then we have the release phase and the optimization of what we have done, right? So in the initiation phase, right, which we generally call it as sprint 0, right? So the teams define the goals of the project, where we explore what the application must be doing in order to reach the goal that has been defined, and map out a plan to deliver the value very quickly. Okay, so this is generally accomplished through a collaborative session wherein the stakeholders from either side, both from the customers and from Excel, we sit across, we talk to their business, we talk to their IT, and this ensures every point of view of every person in that who is aligned with that project is being heard, and the stakeholders are aligned around that common goal that's been set, right? So the intent in this initiation phase is not exactly to define every project detail, but rather to perform enough planning and design so that we get started in the right direction, right? So as a result, team usually complete these activities in like a week or two. So this is what we do at the initiation first stage. Then moving on to the build phase, what happens is the team actually builds the application, right, in rapid iterations. Usually it's like 2 week sprints is what we develop in, where the priority features are being identified and they go through the full development and such. Okay, and there is like quick business quality checks also happening in between, right, for each sprints to ensure that we meet the expectations of their of the customers, right? So there'll be like continuous collaboration happening between the teams, both the development team from Excel, the stakeholders from the customer side in this phase, right? So one feature is developed, the feature is taken, and the continuous parallel testing also happens so that we ensure that that particular feature that we build meets the expectation and the requirement of the customer. So next comes your release phase, right? So in Excel or anything that's related to Appian, right? We don't believe in a big bang approach, right? Rather, we do releases in small phases, right? So before the team releases the application to the business, right? So they perform a final validation of the functionality, ensure stakeholders are also ready to accept it by thoroughly testing the features which has been developed across like multiple sprints. So the testing happens either manually or through test automations scripts as well. So either ways we do, and the releases are planned in such a way that each release is small, no big bang approach there, right? So then we also do the training of the users, how the application works, all those kind of information is being given to them, followed by a week of hypercare where we look into the products, we look of the application that we have built, make sure the initial influx that could be there, right, for request for support and stuff is there. That's all been taken care in this phase. Right. Last but not the least is the optimization phase, wherein the team plans out a proper support model for the solution that's been delivered to the client. Right. So our team measures the impact of the application after the launch, measuring it against the KPIs that have been initially identified and such. So in a nutshell, right, so consolidating the entire thing, we ensure that we deliver what's been expected from us by the client using the Appian defined industry best practices and such.
That's good. So it means that you're trying to say everything is like a step-by-step kind of a thing, and at the same time, everyone is on the same page.
Correct. Meticulously planned phases, I would say.
Yeah, and again, I think it's like you said, I think consistently how we plan, how we deliver actually shows in the output or the survey feedbacks that the customer is given, right? So, Prasad is basically very humble to say, but our CSATs have never gone below 9.2 on a scale of 10, which is how Appian actually, grades us, right? Many CSATs and surveys nowadays have gone to a scale of 5, but we're still on a scale of 10, right? And 9.2 plus. But I think one of the biggest things is this, right? Across Prasad, Matt, and Sagar, while it is meticulous, right, there are only certain factors that they can control, right? There are many a times that the factors out of the hand usually also try to destabilize the delivery, destabilize basically the availability of people. I mean, for example, you can't predict that a VM is available, right? It can go down. for example, right?
Yep.
It can be that there is suddenly an influx or a spike in performance or a network, and that has a different behavior and shows up differently on an Appian screen, right? So things like that can also be a problem.
True.
Sometimes resource issues, long leaves can also become a problem. But it's not just about following a meticulous process. I think you said very clearly one thing, right? It is about the how to keep it open, right? Transparency with the customer has also been one of our key to success, right? To say that, look, hey, yes, we have made a mistake or there is an issue. We acknowledge the issue, right? And then we fix it.
Yep.
Right. It's never about saying everything is a smooth sail. I think our test of character, our test of commitment has only been shown even during the tough times when we've not actually gone with the finger pointing or a blame game, right? We just take it and ensure that the issue is first fixed, and then we go about doing and doing a retrospective to see what went wrong and how things can be made better, right? That has gained a lot of respect, not just with
Yep.
Appian but with across the partner community and the customer community as well.
That's really good to know. And I mean that, I mean, as you put it across that, it's a complete jump, as you were mentioning about the CSAT scores and 9, really, it really shows that amount of sincerity and acknowledgement that we to show towards the project and how we own it. It just completely explains
Not
it.
just us, right? It's a two-way street, right? That is basically a mechanism of how the customer is responding to what we have done, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's a true acknowledgement or a testimonial from them, actually, right?
That's really good to know, Vijay. And so coming to the final question, Raghav, is I'm aware of the fact that you actually you maintain a delivery model. So when it comes to the delivery model, I just wanted to understand that is this the delivery model that you follow that is adhering to the Yexle organization, or is the delivery model varying according to what the customer is requesting, or changing according to his needs or asks?
Sure. Nice question. So, Excel's Appian delivery model, right? It's a proven methodology that has worked well for our customers with very positive, measurable outcomes. But at the same time, right, we listen to our customers well on their business challenges, their time pressure that is there to roll out the applications. Thereby, what we do is we fine tune a little bit here and there. We fine tune our delivery processes in such a way that client is also comfortable with the deliverables, because we
Right.
understand they also have their own business pressures and stuff, right? So we
Right.
discuss with the client and ensure we kind of deploy on a quicker basis, like say for example, like bi-weekly basis, right? And track the velocity of the deliverables to enhance the optimal or the maximizing the speed of delivery. So
Right.
as I said, like we strongly believe in small and incremental improvements and deliveries, right? And over a period of time, right? So Excel has built its own kind of brand equity in the Appian circles, and we ensure that the business challenges faced by the clients are addressed with the speed and agility throughout the delivery process that we do, okay, using our delivery excellence. The main reason, as like Vijay said, right, so we are pretty transparent when it comes to project deliverables. In case we hit on some roadblock, we transparently, openly tell to the customers what went right, what went wrong, and how do we address them also.
Right.
And today the clients understand that very clearly. They are very knowledgeable, and it's not that we are trying to tell to the customer only the good things. No, the client wants to hear the bad news first, right? And when there is something, we can tell them openly, and we can also come and discuss with them and see we solve those challenges very quickly. And clients love those kind of
That's good.
partners who are pretty open to them, right? So it's always it is about the customer success, right? And we
True.
are in 2024, and it's a very, very interesting year for Excel. So
Yeah.
we all look forward to have a fantastic year for both Excel and our clients as well. I also wish good luck to all the listeners of this podcast, and thank you so much, Akhil, for this
Yep.
wonderful session.
Yeah,
I
I
really
think
would.
Akhil,
Yes,
what
Vijay.
you've done is great, right? Because I think you've briefly made us touch on many aspects or points that you want to basically pick up during the forthcoming sessions, right? So
Yep. Yep.
there's quite a lot of things like I think you've asked for, and there's a lot of material that we can work on. But yes,
Right.
thank you for this initiative. I think you've started this, so it's a good one. Hopefully, through this, we'll be able to educate both the internal folks and the external people, give
Yep.
them more confidence. So let's see.
And I really thank three of you to give me this opportunity, and I really had a great time taking insights and a lot of views from your end. And so I thank you, Vijay, for just giving me a great opportunity to showcase and take it forward. So listeners, so this is Akil Navluri signing off. So we'll be back again with another episode of the Yexle podcast very soon. Till that time, keep hearing. Thank you. Bye.